A federal jury in San Francisco found that Google collected your data for 8 years after you told it to stop. They ordered Google to pay $425 million. The privacy setting they violated is still on your phone right now, and it is still turned on. Last year, Google made $295 billion selling what it knows about you, your searches, your location, your voice. The recordings are stored as audio files on their servers. The setting that cuts them off takes 10 minutes. It costs $0. And by the end of this video, you will have disabled every tracking toggle Google hides inside your account, deleted the data they have already stored, and set an automatic failsafe so it never builds back up. Welcome to the channel. What we do here is simple. We take court documents, financial filings, and buried settings menus, and we translate them into plain language steps you can actually use. If you want to stay informed when billion-dollar companies are counting on you staying confused, subscribe. Hit the bell. You're going to want what comes next. Let me show you why Google wants your data so badly. Because the why makes the how make sense. Google was founded in 1998. 2 students in a garage. By the year 2000, they launched AdWords. That was the moment everything changed. AdWords turned a search engine into an advertising empire. Every query you typed became a signal. What you wanted, what you feared, what you were about to buy. Then they expanded. Gmail launched in 2004. Every email you sent, received, and drafted became another data stream. YouTube was acquired in 2006. Now they knew what you watched, how long you watched it, and what made you click. Android arrived in 2008. Now they were inside your pocket, your location, your contacts, your app usage, every single day. Google Assistant launched in 2016. Now they had your voice, your questions spoken out loud in your own home. Nest joined the ecosystem. Cameras, thermostats, doorbells. Google Maps already knew every place you had ever driven, every restaurant you had visited, every route you take to work. Each product is a tributary. Every tributary feeds one river. That river is your advertising profile, and that profile generated $295 billion in advertising revenue in 2025 alone. Let me put that in context. Alphabet, or Google's parent company, crossed $400 billion in total revenue for the first time last year. Advertising represents more than 75% of that total. Google Ads reaches 90% of internet users across more than 2 million partner websites. 80% of global businesses use Google Ads. That is not a search engine. That is a surveillance infrastructure funded by your behavioral data and subsidized by your ignorance of the settings that control it. So that is what your data is worth to them. Now let us look at what happened when people tried to turn it off. Before we go deeper, I want you to know that everything in this video is the surface. Inside the vault, we go further. Every setting, every legal filing, every alternative tool, browser configurations, operating system replacements, email migrations, no fluff, no filler, just verified research organized by category so you can move at your own pace. The link is in the description. But everything you need to protect yourself today is right here. Stay with me. In September of 2025, a federal jury in the Northern District of California delivered a verdict that should have been front-page news for a month. Rodriguez versus Google, LLC. Case number 320C V04688. Here's what happened. Since 2016, Google told users that when they turned off a privacy setting called Web and App Activity, the company would stop collecting their data from third-party applications. Millions of people turned it off. They believed the tracking had stopped. It had not. Google continued to collect, save, and use their data for 8 years across 174 million devices, affecting 98 million users. The plaintiffs called it a fake opt-out button. The jury agreed. Google's defense was that the collected data was pseudonymous and non-personal. The jury rejected that argument. They found Google liable on 2 counts: invasion of privacy under California's Constitution, and common law intrusion upon seclusion. The damages were $425.7 million. The jury foreperson told attorneys afterward that Google's consent language should have been more obvious. He said the average user is a skimmer, not a reader. The jury tried to put themselves in ordinary people's shoes. Google has announced an appeal. They say the verdict misunderstands how their products work. But that was not even the first privacy reckoning of the year. 4 months earlier, in May of 2025, the Texas Attorney General announced a $1.375 billion settlement with Google, the largest single-state privacy recovery against Google in history. For comparison, a coalition of 40 states previously secured $391 million. Texas, acting alone, secured nearly $1 billion more. The allegations covered 3 categories. Google tracked a user's geolocation even after location settings were disabled. Google collected biometric data, including voice prints from Google Assistant and facial geometry from Google Photos, without informed consent. And Google misled users about the privacy protections of its incognito browsing mode. Incognito. The mode with the little hat icon that implies secrecy. Google was collecting data through it the entire time. These are not conspiracy theories. These are court verdicts, docket numbers, billion-dollar settlements signed by attorneys general. And there's more in motion. In the United Kingdom, class action claims against Google exceed £12 billion. The European Union continues to levy fines under GDPR enforcement. The pattern is global. Google did not just hide the settings. They made the settings not work. So let us talk about how the settings are designed to keep you from even trying. There are 4 mechanisms. I want you to understand each one. First, default on architecture. When you create a Google account, every tracking toggle is enabled. There is no onboarding screen that asks whether you want to be tracked. You are opted in from the first second. The burden is entirely on you to find the settings and turn them off. Second, the word pause. Google does not let you disable or turn off tracking. The language says pause. That word is deliberate. Pause implies temporary. It implies you will come back and resume. It discourages permanent action at the psychological level. Third, consequence warnings. The moment you try to deactivate a setting, Google presents warnings. Your experience will be degraded. Your search results will be less relevant. Your maps will lose personalization. These warnings appear at the exact moment of decision when you are most vulnerable to abandoning the change. Fourth, structural burial. You cannot reach privacy checkup from Gmail. You cannot reach it from YouTube. You cannot reach it from the Google homepage. You have to navigate to myaccount.google.com, then to data and privacy, then to history settings, then to each individual toggle. Consumer Reports found in 2025 that these privacy controls affect data sharing between platforms, but do not stop the underlying collection. Each one of these patterns is a friction layer designed to keep you inside the tracking system. And now you know why. If you are learning something that Google spent $295 billion making sure you would never hear, subscribe. Share this with someone who uses Gmail. This is the kind of knowledge that protects families. Now, before I walk you through the steps, I owe you honesty. Because I'm not going to pretend there are no trade-offs. When you disable web and app activity, your search results become more generic. For most queries, you will not notice. For highly personal searches, results may be slightly less tailored. Maps loses personalized suggestions, but core navigation is completely unaffected. You can still get directions anywhere. YouTube recommendations reset to trending and generic content. If you have spent years training the algorithm, that library of suggestions disappears. Some people consider that a loss. Others consider it a relief. Google Assistant cannot improve its speech recognition over time without voice data. It still works. It just does not learn your voice. Ads still appear. They just become untargeted. Many people actually prefer this. You see the same number of ads. They are just not based on your browsing history or your location. Here's the critical caveat. Disabling account level settings does not stop all infrastructure level collection. Metadata, IP addresses, device identifiers. These may still be gathered at the network level. Browser fingerprinting remains possible across Google's partner network. What you're doing today is removing the most invasive, most documented, and most legally contested layer of tracking. It is not a magic shield. It is the single most impactful step available to you. Those are real trade-offs. For most people, they are absolutely worth it. Here is exactly how to do it. Step 1. Open your browser and go to myaccount.google.com. Sign in if you're not already. Step 2. Navigate to data and privacy. Find web and app activity. Click it. You will see the word pause. Pause. Ignore the implication. Click it. Confirm. You're not pausing. You're stopping. Step 3. Find location history, which Google now calls timeline. Turn it off. Confirm. Google tracked your movements even after people turned this off before. Do it anyway. The court verdicts changed the enforcement landscape. Step 4. Find YouTube history. You need to disable 2 separate toggles. YouTube search history and YouTube watch history. They are listed independently. Turn off both. Step 5. Find voice and audio activity. This is where your stored voice recordings live. Turn it off. Step 6. Find ad personalization. Turn it off. This disconnects your advertising profile from your browsing behavior. Step 7. Now delete what they already have. Go to myactivity.google.com. Click Delete Activity By, select All Time, select All Products, confirm the deletion. This removes the stored record of your activity. Everything they have logged. Step 8. Set an automatic failsafe. Go back to each activity category and enable auto-delete. Set it to 3 months. This means that even if a setting is accidentally re-enabled, the data self-destructs on a rolling basis. It is your insurance policy. Step 9. Review third-party app access. Under Security in your Google account, find third-party apps with account access. Remove anything you do not actively use. Each connected app is a data pipeline you may have forgotten about. Step 10. Optional but powerful. Go to takeout.google.com. Request a full download of your Google data archive. This is not about deleting it. This is about seeing it. When the archive arrives, look at the size. Look at the categories, location history files, voice recordings, search logs going back years. The volume is the proof. So it makes the abstract concrete. Total time, 10 to 15 minutes. Total cost, $0. Here's what just happened. The gap between what Google makes possible and what Google makes easy is a $300 billion architectural choice. The settings exist because regulators demanded them. The design exists to make sure you never use them. Today, you use them. A federal jury saw Google's internal practices and called them highly offensive. The state of Texas extracted $1.375 billion for the same pattern of behavior. Courts across the United Kingdom have filed claims exceeding £12 billion. The evidence is not ambiguous. The verdicts are not debatable. This is documented, adjudicated, and ongoing. If you want to go further, the tools exist. DuckDuckGo for search, ProtonMail for email, Brave or Firefox for browsing, Signal for messaging, a VPN for network-level protection, Graphene OS for a fully de-Googled phone. Each of those is a deeper step. Each is covered in the vault. But what you did today matters by itself. This took you 10 minutes and $0. The company that tracked you for 8 years across 174 million devices just lost its window into your life. Share this video with someone who deserves to know, because Google is counting on them never finding out. I will see you in the next one.